Have you ever wondered why addiction feels like such an impossible battle, like a cycle that just can't be broken? Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to take a journey right into the human brain to really get a handle on the why behind it all. And I promise you, understanding that why is the very first step toward hope. You know, one of the cruelest parts of addiction is how lonely it feels. So let's get this out of the way right now. It's the most important thing to hear. You are not alone, not even close. Just by being here, listening to this, you're taking a step out of that isolation and toward healing. Okay, first things first. We have to completely change the way we think about addiction. For so long, it's been seen as a moral failing or a lack of willpower. It's not. Plain and simple, addiction is a disease, a medical condition.
In this definition, it's so important. Addiction causes real, actual, physical changes to the brain. We're talking about the circuits that control reward, stress, and our ability to make decisions. These aren't just temporary glitches. These are fundamental changes to the brain's wiring.
Here's a way to think about it that really clicks. We all understand heart disease, right? It's a disease that disrupts how the heart works. It's serious, it has harmful effects, but we know it's treatable. Addiction is exactly the same. It's a disease that disrupts the normal function of the brain. And just like heart disease, it requires real medical treatment, not just trying harder.
So how in the world does this actually happen? How does a substance do this to our brain? Let's dive into the science of it. And don't worry, I'm going to keep this super simple and clear. No PhD required.
Imagine your brain is this incredibly powerful supercomputer. It's made up of billions of tiny cells called neurons, and they're all connected in these complex circuits. Every single neuron acts like a little switch, controlling the flow of information for every thought, every feeling, every single thing you do.
So, how do these little switches talk to each other? Well, one neuron sends out a chemical messenger. That's a neurotransmitter. It zips across a tiny little gap and fits perfectly into a receptor on the next neuron, kind of like a key sliding into a lock. When the key turns, the message is passed on. Click!
And this is where drugs hijack the whole system. See, they don't invent something new. They mess with the system that's already there. Some drugs are like counterfeit keys. They mimic your brain's natural messengers and trick the locks. Others cause this huge, unnatural flood of your own keys. The whole communication network just gets completely overwhelmed and corrupted.
Now, of all the systems that get hijacked, there's one we really need to focus on: the reward system. This is the part of your brain that's designed to make you feel good when you do things that help you survive. You know, like eating food or connecting with people.
The difference between a natural reward and a drug reward is just staggering. It's like the difference between someone whispering something pleasant in your ear and someone blasting a fire hose of sound at you. The pleasure from everyday things, that's the whisper. The feeling from drugs, that's the fire hose. It's a massive, overwhelming signal the brain was never designed to handle.
And that fire hose, it literally retrains the brain. This quote from the National Institute on Drug Abuse says it all. Those massive surges of the feel-good chemical dopamine teach the brain that the drug is the most important thing for survival. More important than food, more important than family, more important than anything.
But your brain is smart, and it tries to protect itself. I mean, if someone is just shouting at you constantly, what do? Eventually, you tune them out. You turn down the volume. The brain does the exact same thing. It starts making less of its own natural pleasure chemicals, or it actually removes some of those locks to try and quiet down that overwhelming shout.
And this is the truly heartbreaking part. When the brain turns down the volume, it turns it down on everything. The pleasure you used to get from a good meal, or music, or a hug from someone you love, it just doesn't register anymore. The brain's pleasure circuits get so dampened that the person now needs the substance just to feel okay, just to get back to what feels normal.
So when you hear someone ask, why can't they just stop? This is the answer. It's because the parts of the brain that are in charge of judgment, decision-making, and self-control, they've been physically damaged. The pilot is no longer in control of the plane. It's not a matter of willpower anymore.
I know this all sounds really bleak. A hijacked brain, a loss of control. It's easy to feel like it's a hopeless situation. But right here, this is where the story completely changes. Because once you understand the problem this clearly, you can finally start to see the solution. This leads to the most important question of all, doesn't it? After all of these powerful physical changes have happened, after all this damage, can the brain actually heal?
And the answer, thank goodness, is a firm, definite, absolute yes. The brain is remarkably resilient. Just like other chronic diseases, Addiction is treatable. Recovery is not just a nice idea, it is absolutely possible.
And that's exactly why places like RecoveryCNT exist, because getting better isn't just about stopping, it's about actively healing. It's about having a trusted, personalized path to help you rebuild those healthy brain circuits and, step by step, regain control.
So what does that path even look like? How does this journey of recovery actually begin? What's that first step?
Well, for starters, effective help has to fit into your life. That's why outpatient care is so powerful. It lets you get help while staying connected to your job and your family. It also has to be personal. You're not just a number. It means getting real, evidence-based medical treatments and support. And because addiction impacts the whole family, getting them involved is a huge part of the healing process for everyone.
Look, just taking the time to understand the science behind this is a huge step. But the next one, the one that takes real courage, is reaching out and asking for help. That is not a sign of weakness. It is one of the most powerful and bravest things a person can do. Your healing journey really can start today.
If any of this has resonated with you, for yourself or for someone you love, please make that call. Connect with people who get it. They understand the science, they understand the struggle, and most importantly, they understand the path to hope. The number is 1-732-484-9661, or you can find them online at RecoveryCNT.com. You can make that brave first step right now.